It's kind of hard to imagine right now being here, like waking up and being chased by the U.S. cavalry.
We're learning a survival skill that Nimipu children had to do to save their life almost about 150 years ago.
What I want to see 6 or 7 generations down the road, that we're still here and we're still strong.
We're bringing about the stories, the craftsmanship of the bull boat for the women and children during the river crossings, which was a key point of survival during the War of 1877. We're bringing back the feminine side of our history that hasn't been in the books. The gatherers actually are more successful at gathering food than hunters are. So the women provided much more of the food for the camp than people give credit for. Our survival depended on the women.
I think the bull boat's going to be really cool since nobody's made it in a very, very long time. Over 100 years, so I think that 4th graders would be very cool to make something that hasn't been made in over 100 years.
It's just so wonderful to see our youth, our young, our next generation getting their hands in the soils and their hands on, the woods that we traditionally use to make paddles and canoes and boats. But one of the things that I'm mostly interested in and that I talked a little bit about today is integrating some of our traditional uses, such as regalia with the buckskin, and relating it to some of the materials and tools that we would use with the parfleche or the bull boats. So historically we used a variety of different hides to be able to accomplish what we needed to do to travel from one river across to the other side.
I think it's important that we're learning this because the Nez Perce want to share their traditions with non-Nez Perce youth, so they're inviting the 4th grade crew at Palouse Prairie Charter School to carve paddles and build their traditional bull boat with them.
Bull boats were made of wood and hides, and we're gonna use willow branches to make the frame for the bull boat. And then they stretched skin. Well, the Nez Perce stretched skin, typically buffalo hide, to make it waterproof.
When the fur trappers showed up and they had canvas with them, and the Nimipu tribe probably got some canvas and they were able to use it, that was probably a whole lot easier. I think that since we're going to be using canvas, it's just basically the same thing, and they flesh the hides and they put it onto the boats, and we're gonna do that. But now that we get to use canvas, it's a whole lot easier for us, and it was a whole lot easier for them.
1, 2, 3.
We're living on Nimipu land and learning and working with Gary and learning more about the culture that came before and the culture of the Northwest tribes and their reliance on river systems and water is a gift to the heritage of this area and our nation, and it's not taught enough in schools. We learn more about post-colonial history. So I think the foundation these kids are learning to respect all cultures around them and nature and what they can do with their own hands and minds and creativity is stellar.
This project is unique. It teaches children the the complexities of cultures, and it teaches children the complexities of living as occupiers in somebody else's land.
I'm one of the founders of Nimipu 5-4, and our organization seeks to promote, protect, and preserve the way of life, the culture, the belief systems, the arts, the stories of the Nimipu prior to 1855. That's why we're called Nimipu 5-4. If you take a snapshot of 1854, what did it look like prior to the treaty, prior to contact in 1805? And so what we're trying to do is to let these children, these allies, their parents, know that we're still in the mix there somewhere. All that we brought into this history is still here, we're still here.
Thank you, Gary, for welcoming us here this morning. The fourth grade crew would also like to thank everyone for being here together this morning at our celebration of learning. In our expedition called the Confluence of Cultures, we learned about the history of settlement in Idaho and the United States and the impacts of colonization on native peoples, specifically the Nimipu.
Our fourth grade crew worked with Gary to help him build bow boats.
I learned it took a whole community to make a bow boat, but in the 1877 war, kids made these with no help to survive.
I learned that we all have a different culture, religions, and other things, but we are all the same.
I think that if we've been making canoes so much, and that's kind of the men's side of Nimipu, so we should make more stuff that's on the girls' side, even it out. Because girls are just as strong and needed in this world as men are.
Now I can't afford the